What's going on, good people? K Rich here, Kyron. I don't know, man. I got a lot of different monikers. We're back at it again with another episode of the Back of the Bing, brought to you by Good Earner Sopranos podcast. Unlike my man Spike Lou, who has been my co-pilot here in this Back of the Bing series, we got the originator, the reason why Good Earners exists, the brainchild behind this idea, the brainchild behind Back of the Bing, actually. The one, the only, the conceptual Maurice Hunt III. What's going on, my brother? How you feeling?
Bro, you too good at this. Get this man on the award show immediately to present the next award. This guy's good, boy. Guys, how do you do that, man? How do you do that?
I
Seriously.
honestly, man, it helps, and I mean this wholeheartedly. It helps because I'm a fan. I got to be a fan of who I'm speaking of, or really feel how I feel about that person. I don't know if this was day one, and me and you just exchange a couple DMs, and we're trying to record a week after that, and I don't have that relationship. I probably talk our way through it. But you my dog, man. You
Yeah.
family at this point. So
Yeah.
that's how I feel, man. You are the brainchild. You're the reason why all of this is going on. I was gonna make the joke earlier that I know how you feel about Good Earners, and this is kind of your baby, and you feel you don't want to miss an episode. Right. Even when we took our break, that's how Back of the Bean came up, because we had the discussion, you, myself, and Spike, about, hey, what if we do a couple episodes that you might not like as much? We'll keep it rolling. We'll record an episode early so you can jump on it, blah, blah, blah. But she was like, nah, man, I got this thing where I want to be on every single episode. And that's kind of how I feel now about Back of the Bean. Like, now that I've been on here, I don't want to miss a Back of the Bing now.
Yeah, man.
These are fun. And it's something that we never discussed during the making of Good Earners. And it just kind of came on the fly out of necessity, and it's become something that I really enjoy. These off-topic conversations, kind of still tied into the Sopranos world, have a little fun as far as our our film and television knowledge, and doing these games, I guess, for lack of a better term. So I'm excited to be here, man. I'm excited to have a conversation with you about what our topic is today for the third episode. This third episode?
Fourth episode, I think.
You sure?
I think so.
Fourth? Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. So you were gone for 3 weeks. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
How you feeling, man, before we get started?
Man, I'm feeling good. I was jealous of you guys doing the Back of the Beans because we've all watched the series already. And I think I commend you and Spike. I think we've done a great job at not really spoiling for some people that just like, hey, I'm just getting into it. I want to find a podcast to go with watching it for the first time, and we want to enjoy it. So I think we've done a good job with that. But I think that it's very exciting, both doing that and doing this, because we're creating original content outside of the review aspect of Good Earners reviewing The Sopranos. So I'm excited to be on here for the first time, and I definitely look forward to what this is going to grow into once we finish the series, or even when one of us may have to step away for a second, we have to have another Back of the Bean conversation.
Absolutely. I feel you on that. Before we get started, I guess it is a good idea to advise why we're doing another Back of the Bing. I know people probably weren't expecting it, especially since Mo's back in the fold, and Spike is actually out of town. And I've been saying that if any of the listeners listen to Culture Garden, I've been saying it all month, man. It's March Madness indeed. Like, there's just scheduling stuff. Life is just going all over the place right now. So nothing's been planned, but we decided, hey, since we have Back of the Being, we'll go ahead and get another episode out. Shout out to Spike, man. He's back home with the family. So I hope he's doing well. I'm looking forward to his feedback on this episode, as well as the rest of you guys, the listeners. We appreciate everybody in here for tuning in, watching, listening. You can't tell you how much it means to us. Like I said, a couple guys just wanted to talk about prestige television, to have feedback week in, week out, to have people waiting on it to drop, to have people invested in it, and take some time out of their day to leave comments and share it with friends. I really can't say enough, and I know Mo and Spike will echo the sentiment, how much it means to us, because we really just a couple guys, Mo and myself, a couple Midwest kids that are just out here, just trying to make something out of nothing. So we appreciate all of you for that. With that being said, Mo, do you have any comments or any kind of reviews, anything that the listeners have given us?
Yeah, man. One of our avid listeners, the one that we said has a great rapper name for like mixtapes, GS Money Baby, Double XL.
Yeah.
We look forward to your feedback, brother. He says, good episode made in parentheses. I think he's talking about us.
I think he's talking about the episode.
Maybe the episode. Okay.
Our episode. Good
our episode. Yeah. Okay, right on. We'll take that. He says, and a goodbye to one of the best stand-up guys in the Soprano universe, Furio. The man showed great restraint and thought with the head in between the shoulders in regards to the Carmela situation. Lord knows what Tony would have done had he been in Furio's position. And the thing that impressed me with Furio is he had enough wisdom and self-awareness to know that if he stayed in Jersey, it would have been too much complication between Carmela and Tony, and would most certainly ended badly for him. So he left a toxic environment and went back to Naples, where he was happy. To me, Furio was the only member in the Soprano crime family that got a win in terms of being happy and was closer to Gary Cooper than Tony Soprano. Great review and commentary, fellas. Greatly looking forward to, under parentheses understatement, to the Whitecaps episode and one of Tony's greatest fumbles in the series.
That was a hell of a review for one.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Shout out to GS baby XXL.
GS money baby XXL.
GS money baby XXL, man. We appreciate you. Those opening statements about Furio, and just being one of those stand-up characters and solid guys. It makes me immediately think of you, and your frustration with the Furio role. I think everything that he said is exactly why you're upset, because you had all this potential with this character. You could have done so much. However, I agree with you, especially after thinking about it. The Furio character was underutilized. I think this was for this to be the main driving point, the him and Carmela storyline. I never would have saw that coming, especially based on our introduction to him. But shout out to that review, man. I definitely appreciate that. That's dope.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
That's it. That's all.
All right, man. Well, as he said, we too are looking forward to Whitecaps and having that conversation. I know everybody was expecting it to be today, but it will be coming next week. God willing, no other crazy schedule changes. But as of right now, everything's on board for us to go ahead and finish up season 4 and keep things rolling in that area. This is one, and Mo can contest. Whitecaps is something that we've discussed, not the details, but just getting to it, the excitement for it. Before Mo was going to go on his paternity leave, that's something we mentioned. Like, hey man, do you want to go ahead and record Whitecaps now, and we'll fill in the blanks, because we were just ready. But we'll do it with fresh eyes, and I'm looking forward to that. But back of the bean today, what we're gonna do, and this is another idea, and I'll have you kind of speak on it. This is one of your ideas, Mo. When we were coming up for ideas on what we wanted to discuss, you took about a day and then came back and said, hey, what if we recast The Sopranos as a Black show? Which I thought was incredible. If you know anything about me, this is right up my lane. This is a fun project for me. This is something I do on my own time, just walking around in my head. So to be able to have a space to and an outlet to get this all out, that's perfect. Mo, what made you come up with this idea? Was there something that you were just doing and it just the light bulb came on? How did that come about?
I know we talk a lot about character analysis and stuff like that, and we would like to really do that. It seems like, but we haven't. All three of us haven't been consistent in the thought that we want to do this at that moment. So maybe it's a better end of the series, back of the bean concept. But we, as much as we are going to keep moving forward, there's an allure about certain characters. There's an allure about each season. We talk about pairing season 1 and 2. We talk about pairing season 3 and 4. We talk about these pairings and these characters. And originally with this episode, we were going to do a cast for, we said, okay, up until this point where we're at, then it's like, okay, that could be a lot of recasting. Then we said, okay, maybe 1 and 2. And then we decided, let's just do season 1. Just because we want Spike to get in on the action when it comes to these recasts. I think he's going to have just the same excitement and sentiment as us. And I do want to preface this by, for those that are not Black listeners, I'm going to try. Now, this may take a lot. If I can't do it, then you'll just notice it in the video. But I'm going to attempt to try to pull up the people that we have named as the recast, try to put their picture in the video in the midst. I'm going to try to do it. It's not hard to do. It's just time consuming. But if I can't, y'all will have the references from what we'll mention they have been a part of. And also, this is an episode you're probably going to take the longest to listen to, because if we don't have that and you're doing it audio, you probably want to stop and look up the person if you're not familiar. Just for those that happen to not be black, or if you just happen to not seen films with these individuals in. So I'm prefacing that out the way first. I get it. Everybody's not black listening to this show, but we are black. I've known that from the very first episode. So that
you, really, you black?
I would have never guessed it. Imagine that. So, Choco Baguette. So yeah, here we go.
The movies. The one little caveat that I want to mention before we get started with this list, man, this reminds me of the draft that Spike and myself did. But one little caveat is that for perspective, all you guys listening, for perspective, Mo and myself decided that we're recasting this as if it was airing at the same time as The Sopranos. So 99 to 2007. It's not like an all-star fantasy draft or fantasy list where we're taking any actor from any generation and filling in these roles, which we could do as well. But we really wanted to keep it in the times. Like, hey, let's say Sopranos ran from 99 to 07 like it did, but it's all black. Who would we pick from that era? So there are certain names. You might hear some young actor, or excuse me, you might be thinking of some young actors that could play certain roles. There's one particular that I think would be an incredible Dr. Melfi, but she would have been way too young at that point. But if they made this show today, she would be an incredible, phenomenal Dr. Jennifer Melfi. Phenomenal. So just keep that in mind when you're listening to our list. You know, it is from that era and is not like current day. So we can go and get into it. I know, you know, we're another caveat. This is very important as well. We're not doing the entire show. We're mainly doing season one right now. We're recasting season one. Most of the big players, not everybody. I think all in all, we decided on 12 people, and there's going to be a couple more sprinkled in because we had some ideas that were off topic, just people that were in my head. I'm like, you know, I'm just going to mention this casually. So we're going to start with those people that, you know, we're going to work our way up from, you know, for lack of better terms, least important characters to Tony Soprano, and just go from that mold. Mo, I know you said you had somebody that wasn't necessarily on our list, but you wanted to make sure that you casted them anyway. So I want to hear the first person that you had.
So you want to do that one, both of us, or you want to wait and?
Well, I mean, because we're not. I mean, how do you want to? Who are you thinking about right now?
With the same one, me and you both didn't cast for. I wasn't. I got this kind of put in kind of order of importance, I guess. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, who do you want?
Okay, so I'll start then. So first recasting, and also last caveat. I'm sorry. We know black people are not in the mafia. Let's just get it out the way. We know that. All right. So I don't want black people are not. You get it. All right. Anyways, Father Phil, my first recast, and the person that I have casted for Father Phil is Roger Guinevere Smith. Now, are you familiar with who this is?
Come on, bro. I have a whole movie podcast. Absolutely, I'm unfamiliar with who that is.
Roger Guinevere Smith. Let me run down a few things that y'all may know him from, and I'm gonna try to balance it out between black films and films that may not be black. So, for some of our older listeners, he was in School Days. He was Yoda, Do the Right Thing. He was Smiley. Some people that's like around our age, we know him from All About the Benjamins. He played in Poetic Justice. He was Haywood. For those that, let's see, that are maybe not our black listeners, let me see if I can find something that they may be more familiar with. He played.
I'm gonna say I don't know too much because he's a big Spike Lee guy.
He's a big
he's worked with
Spike
Lee a ton. As you mentioned, he was in Do the Right Thing. He's also, you know, he was in Eve's Bayou, which is I would consider a black film as well. Very small role, but he's in there. Man, what was the other role?
There was something I seen that I said, I think people that, okay, well.
Here's one that I think might be universal. It's a Spike Lee film, but a ton of people have watched it. It came out in 98. He Got Game. Big Time Willie, like that neighborhood hustler.
Yeah.
That would pick up Jesus Shuttlesworth and kind of drive him around and, you know, wanted to make sure that he knew what was the ins and outs. That's him as well. But I think most black listeners will probably know him as Smiley from Do the Right Thing.
Yes. But if y'all look at him, the reason I casted him is he has this look about him. He has this kind of, he looks genuine, but he's like slimy underneath that. He has that look about him, like as far as from an acting standpoint, like all the things that we've mentioned, like he's played various roles. He's a very great actor, but I can totally see him with the the bishop collar on, and wooing who I trying to woo or not woo, or just get off this the sexual tension of food, and as Carmela calls it, the like the essence, the breathing of sexuality amongst women. He has that look. If y'all can look him up right now, Roger Guinevere Smith. I totally feel like he would be a perfect fit for a Father Phil. He just has that look, bro.
That's
So y'all, hey, tell me what y'all think about that, man.
That's incredible. That's a real good one. I didn't have a Father Phil personally. He wasn't on our list, but I think that's one that Mo just had in his head. That's actually really good. I could see that. I could see that, especially if you know that actor. He absolutely could pull that role off because he can balance that line. He can walk that line. I don't have anybody off the top of my head, so I like that a lot.
Okay.
I know Janice didn't come around until season 2,
Okay.
but I had a Janice thought in my head. I had 2 people that I thought of.
Oh, really?
I just want to throw them out real quick. We won't spend too much time on it.
Okay.
Octavia Spencer.
Okay, hold on. I know the name. Hold on. It's the chocolate. Bro, she's dang near the Black Virgin, bro.
Octavia Spencer?
Yes, she looks like wow, that's crazy.
Well, for one, let me make sure I let people know Octavia Spencer is an incredible actor. Incredible. She's been around for a long time. However, she is, if anybody's seen Coach Carter, I forget whose mama she was, but she was somebody's mama. And she had that monologue in there about, my son's gonna play for you. The big tall dude.
Yeah,
she was her. I can't remember his name, but his mama. But she's been in Hidden Figures, The Help, Fruitvale Station. She was Wanda, which was Michael B. Jordan's mom in that film. I believe she has an Oscar at this point. Octavia Spencer is just an incredible actor. Like she's won an Oscar. I forget which film it was for. Probably The Help.
The Help.
Yeah, absolutely. If you know who she is, I would go with her. Also, the name that came up in my head that will be very good as well, Queen Latifah. I think Queen Latifah could have played a great Janice.
Okay, I got to hear this. Why do you think that?
Because there's a certain level, and keep in mind, Culture Garden, we just did Girls Trip. Okay. So Queen Latifah's been on my head recently. Just the way she carries it. She's very smart, observes the room like Tony, doesn't say a ton. I'm not thinking Cleo, Queen Latifah. I'm thinking
Living Single.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, some of it. But she's smart. She can handle herself. Doesn't let off exactly everything that she knows. Plays dumb when she needs to, but also has an angle. I think she can just pull that role off well. I'm just a fan of Queen Latifah and her acting chops, and I think she could pull it off. So, like I said, I didn't really put a ton of thought. Those are just 2 names that came to my head.
Okay.
When it came to Janice, I know we didn't do Johnny Sack.
Oh, I did do Johnny Sack.
You did do Johnny Sack?
Okay,
cool.
He was in season 1, so yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. I think that might be the only person that wasn't in season 1 for me. So I know you want to do it from like least important to Tony Soprano. Who's the first person you want to discuss?
So after Father Phil, I got Artie Bucco.
Okay, let's hear it, man. Let's hear it.
Oh man, I swear, if you think Father Phil was a good casting, I think this is even better, bro. Let me pull up the list, and I know our white and those that are not black listeners, I know y'all gonna know who this is. I hope I pronounce this right. Harold Perrineau. Our black listeners know him as Murph. Our black listeners know him as Murph from Best Man. But for our white listeners, he was in the most notable, I think, that y'all may know him from is Lost. I'm trying to think, what was his name on Lost?
He was in Romeo and Juliet as well, the 96 version.
Oh, the Romeo and Juliet, okay.
Leonardo DiCaprio. He's got a show right now on Apple TV Plus. I forget the name of it, but I know it's going pretty well.
Yeah, he stays in something good, man. They had him in Z Nation. Unfortunately, he was out like the first episode, but yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, y'all would know him from Lost. Um, he
Michael
has
Dawson was his name. I
Michael
lost.
Dawson from Lost. Okay, so it's the black guy in there. So he would be a great Artie Bucco because he does this. He has a really great awkwardness that he carries in a lot of the roles he plays. He never plays like Artie, Johnny V. He Johnny V or Artie, we know he can shoot a shotgun. He knows his way around a gun, so he can do that. But he never quite took that route. Mr. Harold, I think, is the same way. Like he looks like he could probably carry a gun. He can if he knew how need to, but he would never take that route. And he would work at a restaurant and own it, and he would be friends with a Tony Soprano. He just has that kind of square guy ability about him that I don't. There's probably more guys, but in that time period, in that era, he definitely would have done it. Like I think that's a perfect casting in my opinion. But then again, I feel the way about all those things.
No, that's fair, man. That's really good. I like that. I like that one. My Artie Bucco.
Uh-oh.
My Artie Bucco, man.
I can't wait.
Mainly because of his range. There's not a role that this guy cannot play. He was recently, this past year, nominated for an Oscar. He's played MLK.
I know who it is.
He's played,
wow.
Yeah, he's all the way to Peoples Hernandez in the 2000 Shaft.
Oh, man.
He played the role of Peoples Hernandez so well that for many years I thought my man was really Puerto Rican.
I thought they lied to me when they said he was like black. Like, I said, nah.
Yeah. A lot of people will know him from Westworld, the MTV show. MTV show, excuse me. I don't know where I got MTV from. The HBO show is not on the air anymore, but Westworld is the big plot twist. Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright would be, in my opinion, the perfect Artie Bucco. That awkwardness, just that grind, that I'm not all the way tough, but I'm not soft. I don't really know where I fit in. I know I'm welcoming, I'm endearing. I have a place that these people could come and eat and break bread and fellowship. I want to kind of dabble my toe in that life, but also it's very convincing that I'm not a part of it. You know, Charmaine is holding me back. I think Jeffrey Wright would be a perfect Artie Bucco. He's almost overqualified to play Artie Bucco. You would need to give Artie more to do, I think, for somebody like Jeffrey Wright. But I'm just a big fan of his, and I think that he would body that role.
I mean, where was he at the 90s at that point? Was he hadn't blown crazy at that point, like Stack?
No, so you think Shaft came out in 2000.
Okay, so yeah.
He was in Ali with Will Smith. He was Howard Bingham. I'm trying to think of what else he was doing around that time. I know he was a Manchurian Candidate, but I don't know what year that came out. He played Colin Powell in W, Oliver Stone's W. He was in Cadillac Records. That was all from like 2000 to 2007. So he did I just think he would have bodied that. He wasn't that well known. Yeah. And like I said, keep in mind, this is that era. So he's not the Jeffrey Wright we know today. He would have been perfect for Artie Bucco. Like if that was on his resume, Black Sopranos, you look back on it now, 2024, like, oh man, that makes sense. One of his earlier roles was in the Black Sopranos. So I really like that pick. So that's my Artie Bucco, and I love yours as well.
Yeah, I think I wanted Jeffrey Wright on there. I wanted him on my list so bad.
Man, there's a couple actors that I wanted. I was forcing them, and I was like, nah, let me not force it. Let me just fit the role.
Yeah, that's why I was like, you doing too much.
I feel you, man. Who's the next character you got?
All right, really, he's more important, but since me and you both shared in this like overlooked casting, we came up with a last minute cast. So I'm interested to see what yours is. So for Big P, Big Puss, I casted, and I think this is a great one, Wendell Pierce.
Ooh,
that's a fire pick, boy, off the cuff, dog. Wendell Pierce. If y'all don't know him, y'all know what is the show we reference the most. Can give it to us, Rich.
The Wire, man. Come on. That is Bunk. William Bunk Moreland on The Wire.
Come on, bro. Bunk from The Wire. And even in most recent Raising Kanan, Snaps and Pops. Even still, Snaps and Pops. But he plays in so many movies, man. Brown Sugar, Fighting Temptation. That's why I was introduced to him. I didn't even know he could get busy like he did with The Wire. Waiting to Exhale. Oh man, wait, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Selma. But so the reason I cast him is what was you gonna say?
I was gonna say, as of recently, for listeners who might not be as engulfed in Black culture, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, which comes on
Mm,
Amazon Prime Video. He's big on that. Also, a show that made a resurgence from Netflix, but it was very popular and very good. Suits. Played Robert Zane on Suits.
mm.
And a ton of other roles, man. Wendell Pierce has been in a lot of stuff, so we
Yeah,
can't
he's
name everything.
hmm
But those are some things you would definitely know him from if you've seen him.
Yeah, perfect. And he has that, just like the actor that plays Big P. He has, I feel like, some of those similar traits. He's so likable. No matter where he's at, he has a likable quality about him, but he also can give you like, I'm being sneaky, like I'm up to something, but I don't want you. And then even moments where it's like, I want you to feel bad for me, kind of like, how did I get into it? Like everything that P was in The Sopranos season one. I mean, really, that was more season two, but like in season one, I think Wendell Pierce could easily do it. And even then, like maybe similar body shapes kind of really work as well, which I ain't necessarily put that in account with my casting, but I definitely think it works really well. So Wendell Pierce, he was another one I had an idea for another role to cast him in, but again, there was somebody that was just a better pick. So Wendell Pierce, Bunk from The Wire, is my Big P.
Mm, that is an incredible, incredible choice, man. Incredible choice. Um, Man. All right. I think I like yours better than mine. So the person I'm going for with Big P, I had two people. I landed on one.
Okay.
Sean McBride.
Okay. Sean McBride. Let's see.
Sean McBride, man. For those of you who, if you're into network television, there was a show back in the day, and the early, I think from 2004, called Boston Public. If anybody knows how they do like Chicago Fire, Chicago MD, all that stuff, Boston Public tried that as well. They had Boston Public, which is about the school system. Then they had Boston Legal. He played a character by the name of Steve Harper, one of the main characters. He was in Paid in Full as Pip. So for all of you who've seen Paid in Full, he was the laundry guy. He ran a laundromat. Undercover Brother as the chief. So yeah, Chai McBride is somebody
Oh,
that I think carries.
Chai. Sorry.
Chai, yeah, I'm sorry. What you think I said?
Sean.
No, Chai McBride.
Yeah, Chai.
Yeah,
That's
Chai
a good pick,
McBride.
bro. Okay, yeah, I like him. I wanted.
Yeah,
Okay, anyway, yeah, my bad.
yeah, that's somebody that I just felt that because here's the thing: when I came up with this list, as we just mentioned, I wasn't trying to force feed. I wasn't trying to have like this all star, the who's of the 99 through 2007, and I wanted to get it as realistic as possible. And I think that's somebody who could have played this role. I could have seen him, especially when you think of my Tony.
Mm-hmm.
I could have seen him being his best friend because they're right around the same age. Um, and just having that, being able to play both sides. Like I'm in this, but I also you feel something when he's whacked.
Mm-hmm.
But you also understand why it had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's somebody that I really think would have been just would have been dope in that role. That was the last role that I filled, y'all. Like that was the toughest one for me. But that's what I'm going with.
Can I ask, was he ever in a contender for Tony?
Yes, he was a contender for Tony.
Mm-hmm.
He was a contender for Tony. He's somebody I thought of probably because of his build.
Yeah.
And all of that. And then
Stature is very similar.
Yeah, man. But my Tony, I feel is perfect. I feel like my Tony is perfect.
I
don't want to hype
bro.
it. I don't want to hype it. I do not want to hype it
right,
because there's gonna be people out there like, oh, what? That's your Tony? But I think it would have been a perfect character, especially for his acting chops. But the other person that I had, and I think it would have been maybe a little bit cartoonish if he played Big P, was Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, okay.
He just it was one of those names you tossed around and it's like, that won't work.
Yeah, he's muscular. People that have muscular statures are really hard to cast, I feel like, in a show like this.
Yeah,
because we know obviously there's nobody that's buff in The Sopranos. Nobody's buff. These guys, the miserable pricks. They sit around all day smoking mushrooms, collecting government checks. No, but like, so, I think I've seen him, maybe somebody else too, that was like, and the muscular thing is a hard cast. Now, maybe a Furio, maybe, but we're not at season 2, obviously, but maybe,
I had a different name for Furio. I had a different name going around, even though we're not casting him. I definitely thought, we're not at season 2 yet. So we can keep it rolling.
Okay.
So let me ask you, do you want to go with Who do you want to go with next? You want to go Jackie Senior? Did you do a Jackie Senior?
Nah, but the next person I got is Mikey Palmisi, so we can do
Okay
it like
then.
that.
So let me just throw in my Jackie Senior.
Got
Like I
you.
said, this wasn't on our official list, but this is somebody that I was thinking about, um, especially for that time, and I think he would have been a great Jackie Senior. Uh, Don Cheadle.
Hmm.
Something about Don Cheadle, I think, that has leadership qualities.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at him and tell that he can control the room, command the room. He's respected. However, I wouldn't have. And here's the main reason why I picked him for Jackie Senior. I don't think he fits in the show as a regular. He's
Okay.
perfect for like, hey, this is just a guy. If you imagine what it would have been like
Mm-hmm.
if Jackie Senior was a regular member or a
Mm-hmm.
regular, cast member, recurring cast, I don't think I would have picked him. But that's somebody who I saw. I was like, you know what, I could see him as a Jackie Senior.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I just want to throw that in there real quick. That was just one of those I had off the cuff. But Mikey Palmisi, you went last. You went first last, so I will go first this time.
Okay.
My Mikey Palmisi,
Oh, you can't. I can't wait. Let's go.
Academy Award winner.
Uh-oh.
You know him. His first breakout role. Actually, the first time you probably seen him on screen, he was in a barber chair in a movie starring Eddie Murphy. You know him from John Singleton's Boys in the Hood. Won his Oscar for a film called Jerry Maguire. I'm going with Cuba Gooding Jr. It's Mikey Palmisi.
Oh, really? That's the.
I'm
Oh,
going with
that's.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Oh, I got it. I got. Oh, that's good, bro. That's at that time too.
At
All
that
right.
time, absolutely. I'm going with Cuba. Because he has that, for those who have seen American Gangster and seen him play Nicky Barnes, kind of like that annoying dickhead type of almost like I want this guy to die a little bit. I kind of like him, but I don't care if he dies.
Mm-hmm.
He has that characteristic and that quality, and I think he would have just turned that on and went to another level. I don't think Cuba, we clown him a lot because of his antics, but he has some really good acting chops.
Yeah,
He can really like hold his own against anybody, and I think he would have been perfect.
I'm not mad at Cuba. Dang, that's a good one. I ain't man. I ain't think about him. I might have put him somewhere here.
Like Cuba's one of those, how directors say, um, "I wrote this part for this person."
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
didn't even think about anybody else for Mikey Palmisi. For some reason, his name was the first. His face was the first one I saw when I thought of
Mm.
Mikey Palmisi. I'm like, for this time, it would have been perfect.
Okay. I like it. Another one. My Mikey Palmisi that y'all didn't see. We lost him too soon. I wish he would have had more roles. He's known more as a comedian, but he's to me could have been way more of a serious actor. His brother is through the roof, one of the most legendary comedians that we know when we think comedy. I'm
Really?
I'm casting Charlie Murphy. Charlie
Okay.
Murphy.
Okay. I wouldn't have seen that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, man. Charlie Murphy. If y'all can go back right now on your Googles, man. Look, if you look at him in the 90s and you see that look, he has that kind of itis that Tony references. Just in a way, he has kind of that same thing like Cuba, kind of this annoying look about him, like annoying because he's good at his job. Annoying because I'm thirsty to murk somebody, to whack somebody. Like Charlie Murphy totally to me in the 90s looks like I'm ready to whack somebody. Please just give me a reason to throw somebody
Give me a
over a
reason.
bridge. And he also wasn't huge like that from a acting standpoint where he was going to necessarily be in this role for a long time. So I think he's a perfect fit for this, and he's got that gangster appeal about him. Like everybody know when you see Charlie Murphy, it's different than Eddie, just like Tony Rock and Chris Rock. So Charlie Murphy, man, I know that's super
I
random,
like
but
it.
I thought that was a good pick. So
I like it. It fits, man. Sometimes it's those roles where and it's funny. I was recently came across on my timeline. Back when Michael Keaton was cast as Batman, the original
mm-hmm,
Batman back in the 80s, late
mm-hmm.
80s, early 90s, and how much people hated it. And if you ask people today, that's their favorite Batman. Like anybody
Yeah,
from our era, that's their favorite Batman.
yep,
So it goes. He kind of fits that role where you hear the name, it's like, what? You chose him to do that? But once you see it play out,
mm-hmm,
I see the vision. I see
yep,
Charlie Murphy doing that, and it's important for the characters like that they're not main characters. There might be a couple episodes where you don't even see them, So these are people who are just. We need you to body some one or two scenes each episode that you're in, and I absolutely think he could do that. That's not a bad pick at all. He does have that look about him too. Like, give me a reason. I promise you.
Yeah.
He might have been. Oh,
Oh, you had a
he
different
would have.
what? Go
No,
ahead.
I just thought of something for Charlie
What?
Murphy. He would have been a fantastic Richie Aprile.
I know a fantastic Richie Aprile too, but since we didn't cast for that, I was like, I'll save it for.
You want to save it? Okay.
Because I know
Tell
I
me
was
off
like,
air. Just
I
tell me
got
off
you.
air.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, tell me off air because I want to know. Okay, then.
Okay, but you're right.
I'm
That
not
works
mad at
too.
it.
That works too.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at your Mikey choice. All right. I don't know where you want to go next. So you want to go to? Do you want to get AJ out the way?
Oh well, yeah, we could do that. That's fine. Yeah.
Um,
Let me get that hot. Let me move that up so I can have it. Yeah, we can get AJ up right on out of there.
this one was. There's not a ton of actors from that era, like child actors, that I think
Yeah.
could have played this role. But there's one who I always enjoyed on television, and wonder. He did some smaller stuff, straight to video type of movies and things like that. Um, he's probably best known. He's best known for a television show, but also best known for having two very famous twin sisters, um, or a set of famous twin sisters, should I say? Two sisters, whatever. You guys know what I'm trying to say.
Mm,
Um, Taj Mowry, smart guy. You watch the
really?
Disney Channel show, smart guy. I saw him as AJ Soprano. Yeah, absolutely. Because who else was I going to pick? I could have picked Michael B. Jordan. That's not really fun for me. I could have picked Orlando Brown. I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
child actors from that time, and I can
Yeah.
see Taj Mowry just like I say, he didn't get as much work as I would have liked to see him in, and I
Mm-hmm.
can see him just being an annoying kid. Everybody knows how I feel about AJ,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't even think you need a ton of moxie to play that role. I
Mm-hmm.
just think he's somebody that would have been interesting to see, just because there's Taj, there's a smart guy. He might have brought a different element. I don't know.
He could have, and I think for those, I mean, y'all, for those that are not, he's T and Tamara's Mowry's brother. If y'all, for some reason,
Yeah.
live under a rock, and
I would imagine all our listeners know about Smart Guy. I would like to think so.
At least T and Tamara.
Yeah.
At least, but yeah, Taj Mahal, yeah. 17 again, man. I really enjoy that movie. It's a little
Okay, then.
childhood favorite, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here's two picks here. Let me pull them up here just to see if he fits the age range. I think he does. He was born in 88. It's two characters that I had in mind. So I'm gonna bring them both up, and then I think I can narrow it down. But let me check the other actors' age range. But the thing is, y'all, if y'all do your own recasting, y'all can hit us up, goodearnerpod_Sopranos or goodearnerpod@gmail.com if y'all want to send us a list of y'all recast. We would love to hear it. We just have fun with this. But two actors that I had in mind. One is like a light-skinned character, is a dark-skinned character. Doesn't mean anything for those that are not black, but that's just a funny thing. It's just a funny thing I found interesting. I don't have when he was born, but I think that he would be of age. But the two people that I have, the first one that came to mind was Evan Ross. Evan Ross. And the reason Evan Ross, because when you cast AJ, he has to have this annoying factor about him. If he does not have that, like, so most of y'all may know him from ATL or Pride or All in the Wilderness or The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1 and 2, as Massalia, for those that are, Hunger Game fans, the loneliest boy in the world. He played Julius, A Snow Day in Oakland. So, but he has that ability, like we seen in ATL when we were first introduced to him as Antoine, that ability where it's like you look like you're about to get it together and you keep getting into things. And he has that look. But there's one other person that has it even worse. And every time I see him,
really? Because Evan's a great choice, by the way.
All right,
Evan's a great choice, so I'm very curious to know who you got, and he fits the age range because Robert Eiler was born in 1985 and Evan Ross was born in 88, so that's right in that same age range. I think you can play that. So Who's your next? Who's the second person? I'm curious because Evan was good.
All right, Mark John Jeffries. He played in Losing Isaiah. He was in Brown Sugar. You know, you got to pull it up.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking
This
about.
guy.
You're talking about because he was in the original Power.
Yeah.
He was also little. Little seasoned notorious.
Little seasoned notorious. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got actually got a pretty extensive catalog.
He was in Brown Sugar as well. He was a little kid, little young Dre. He didn't have any speaking parts, but he was, when they showed the little flashbacks of the young Dre, that was him.
He was also in Dexter. He was Wendell Owens. And he did some voiceover work for Justice League Unlimited. He was young Green Lantern. So he's got actual a paid off career. He also has that kind of look like AJ in a way in a black version where it's like, okay, whatever. Like he just has that look and that ability. And so I'm having a hard time figuring out between Evan Ross and Mark John Jeffries.
Evan Ross, bro.
Evan Ross
is your choice because of that annoying factor that you said. Like that, there's something, and that's not an Evan Ross thing. That's his. That's a character thing. I think that's his ability. There, and maybe because of ATL.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about Ant and just being that knucklehead little brother.
Yeah.
He just fits that role. And I can see him doing that to a whole nother level on this. And he's just kind of pouty, a little bit entitled. He's Diana Ross's son.
Yeah.
So he grew up with that natural entitlement. Like, my mom is Diana Ross. Like, what are you talking about? So I think that's perfect. That might be that's a perfect pick.
Thank you.
Perfect pick. Absolutely. Man, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. All right. Do we want to stick with the immediate family, or do you want to go to the family?
Do you have anybody else that's not in the immediate family? I mean, anybody else that's not in either the mob family or immediate family?
No, because we have obviously from my standings, outside of Tony, we have Carmela, we have Meadow, we have Livia, Corrado, Uncle June for all you keeping score. Paulie Walnuts, Christopher Moltisanti, Silvio Dante, Dr. Melfi, and Johnny Sack are our remaining people we need to cast.
Okay, let's go with the family. So let's go. You want to go with the sister?
Yeah, let's go with Meadow, man. Meadow was one that I tossed around a few ideas.
Same.
And there was one person that I thought of. Once again, not necessarily if you know her, you know her. And you probably love her as well. But she hasn't been in maybe a ton of stuff. She's not like, I don't know. She doesn't come to your brain off the top of your head. But I'm going to go with Bianca Lawson for Meadow Soprano.
Bianca Lawson
for Meadow Soprano. I believe she's the exact same age as Jamie Lynn Sigler.
Bianca Lawson is good, bro.
You would know Bianca Lawson from Save the Last Dance, obviously. Go watch me squash this shit.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah, classic. She was in Bones. For any of you who have seen Bones, she played Diana Ross. We were talking about Evan Ross. She played Diana Ross in a very brief scene in the Temptations movie. She was a sister since we brought up the Maoris. Yes, Bianca Lawson is just someone who I think fits that role.
Dawson's Creek.
Dawson's Creek, excuse me.
Yes, Nikki Green.
Yeah, man.
Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think that you would believe she's going to be successful. She has her head on straight. She doesn't necessarily fit with her family and their lifestyle. She's a little bit more progressive in her thinking. Has a mind of her own, is very sharp and witty. And I think she would have been a perfect Meadow. Everything we know and love about Meadow, I think she would have done that.
I can see that.
Yeah.
She looks like she would have went from annoying to chill and intelligent. Like she has that look, like you could see that child. She always as an actress has seemed like she knew what was going on as an actress, similar to Meadow. At a young age, you always think, how old is she? Like I always was like, she just always looked older. And now that she's older, you still like, how old is she?
Yeah, because she still looks young. And I mentioned because you Saved the Last Dance, when that came out, she was what? She was probably early 20s.
Mm.
and passing off as a 16-year-old. Like, so she has the
Easy.
range to do all of that. So she's gorgeous. She's a
Yes,
beautiful
she is.
woman.
Absolutely.
And you just see she looks like somebody's important daughter,
Hmm.
like that stereotypical, picture perfect family. That's what she looks like.
She do. Yeah, I like that. That's really good. Another one this is another struggle one for me. I'm gonna come right out the bag with it. I wrestled between Tatiana Ali.
Okay.
Now there could be some. This could. I mean, this could have worked because she would have been fresh off of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. For those that don't know, she's Ashley Banks from
Hmm.
Fresh Prince of Bel Air. I mean, everybody knows Fresh Prince of Bel Air. So she
Yeah.
definitely, I can see her going from the annoying daughter challenging my Tony Soprano to like how she becomes wise and kind of capes for some of the behaviors and problem resolution of the mob. And then my other choice was Journey Smollett. Um, Journey Smollett
Okay.
is again another one of those. I mean, she got busy early, and she definitely gives me that she's gonna go back and forth with her father for a while and then chill out. I can't. I have a hard. I didn't know which way to go with it.
So let me first of all, I love those two. Let me say something real quick. When I said I had the perfect Dr. Melfi, if the Sopranos was being made today and we're using people's ages today, Journey Smollett would have been the perfect Dr. Melfi.
Mm,
Sophisticated, sexy, like looks good as she's dressed down. Like she can give the Melfi legs.
yeah,
Doesn't have to be overtly like over the top. But even now, like if you follow her on IG, man, Journey's been
she getting to
she been acting bad, man. So I
it.
I I I, I like she can play both roles. And once again, shout out to Culture Garden. We when we did Eve's Bayou, we made the argument that Journey Smollett might be she might have the greatest child acting performance ever in the film Eve's
Mm,
Bayou.
I
Like
love that
seriously, like
take too when
she
y'all said that.
bodied that. Like she might be. I know people like Macaulay Culkin and a lot of
Mhm.
other people are in that mix. Natalie Portman, whatever. I think it's Journey, man. She killed it as a kid actor.
Mm.
And still bodying it today.
Hmm.
Still successful, still doing her thing. She was in The Burial recently. Lovecraft Country, which a lot of people watch one season, but yeah, I like that. I think I would lean towards Journey for this choice mainly because I wouldn't want too many people thinking of Ashley Banks.
Yeah,
From one
that was
family
yeah.
daughter to another family daughter, it
Hmm.
could work. I think Tatiana Ali could do it, but I think Journey is the best choice, and that's perfect for that Tony. Like I'm
Hmm.
thinking about you got something you want to say to
Oh,
me?
Mr.
What
Mob
do you mean? What
Boss.
do I mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like I see her body in that scene, bro.
Yeah.
Especially with my Tony. Like, and if you probably see her with your Tony as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that
Okay.
choice. That's great. That's great casting.
Thank
Great
you for
casting.
that's why I'm glad I got you here because I really I needed help, but I think you made a great argument about she's just Ashley Banks on The Sopranos. So that kind because that was like my last minute thought as you were going into it. So I like the fact that you kind of cleared that up. And Bianca Lawson could have been a great Melfi today too, for the record.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you gotta have Tony's my biggest thing with Melfi is Tony has to be attracted to her, but she can
Yes.
also but not in the Gumar way,
Yeah.
like the professional way. And I look at both of them in a professional. If I'm in New York City and I see them on the subway headed to work with a briefcase, I'm like, oh damn, she bad. Like I wonder what
Hmm.
she doing. But it ain't
Yeah.
like, working at Starlet's IG model bad. That's a different
Got you.
type, sophisticated grown woman bad.
Yeah.
So both of them, that's what I think of when I think of Melfi. So that's great. Shout out to Journey, man. One of my favorite television shows of all time. Spike's brought it up as well. Friday Night Lights. She played on there
Yeah.
the final two seasons. So shout out to Journey. I'm a
Podcast
big
coming
Journey
soon.
fan. I don't know, man. Maybe one
Friday Night
day.
Lights.
Maybe
I'm
one
always
day.
messing around about podcasts coming soon. You like stop lying, bro.
But that's the first one that I was like, I don't know. The other ones I really, yeah. Shout out to
For
niggas on the
real.
throne. That's coming soon too. Um,
Yeah, would not let it's Black King's Landing, okay? That's what is coming. Black Game of Thrones podcast.
okay, man. All right, man. Whatever you say. Wink, wink. Okay, so let's do Livia Soprano.
Okay, Livia. Gotcha.
Livia was a little bit difficult
Yep.
because you're going to older for that time range, older black actors.
Okay.
And
We
there
might
were
have to see.
two. There were two that came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
So one is Irma P. Hall.
Irma P. Hall.
Okay.
Let me see.
For those who don't know Irma P. Hall, you would best know her from um, Soul Food. She was Big Mama. Big Mama Soul Food. She was the grandma. Well, she wasn't she in why can't I think of the name with Martin Lawrence? Big Mama's House.
No, she was in Nothing to Lose
I know she was in Nothing to Lose, but she
with
wasn't in
Martin.
Big Mama's House too. She went. Oh
Nah,
yeah, I guess
that
you're
was
right.
a
Yeah,
different. Yeah, that was a different lady.
definitely in Nothing to Lose. Soul Food is what you would really know her from.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she would have been a. Here's the thing about her, man.
Yeah, so this is a
And
hard
God bless her
cast.
because she's still with us. She's still with us, man. She was born in 1935.
Wow.
I think you need a little bit of edge to your Livia.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's one person in particular who would have been great at this.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away in 2008. Um, our era would probably know her from two movies in particular. Three, really. One is a voice, and the other two actually had on screen performances. You might know her as Lady Eloise from Boomerang. And you might know her
Wow.
as Madame Zeroni from the movie Holes, which is a real popular movie for people our age.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Eartha Kitt. I think Eartha Kitt would have been a phenomenal Livia Soprano, and just from an acting perspective, could have easily drew that line that Nancy
Marshawn.
Marchand played, as far as like, do we believe her? Do we not? Like, is she really like that? Is she not? Like, she just has
Right.
that acting chops to do it, So Nancy Marchand, like, she's won awards, she's won Emmys, like, she's a beast when it comes to it, back in her heyday. And Eartha Kitt's the same. So I think that she would have been perfect for it.
Wow, bro. I wasn't ready for that. That's let me get myself together. So Eartha Kitt. How old would she have been then?
So she was born in 1927. Nancy Marchand was born in 1928. So
Okay.
they're a year apart. I believe she would have been in the what, man, excuse my math. 70, 68 or so in the
Okay. So
first season.
yeah, we right in there. You know who I thought you were gonna go with for a second?
Who?
What's the Eddie Murphy movie with Richard Pryor?
You talking about Della Reese?
Della Reese. Yeah.
Ooh,
I didn't even think about
come
it till you
on,
just
Bo.
got to going into. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yo, no, Mo. How do I not even think about
I
her?
didn't even think about it
Mo,
till you
that's the
just said this.
answer.
That's the
That's the
answer,
answer,
Della Reese.
Mo. That's the answer.
That because she really kind of like she looked like she was off her son.
That's the answer, man.
What's
Shout out,
her?
she Mama Wright from A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. A lot of people would know her from Touched by an Angel.
What's her name?
She was
Dang.
big into that show. Della Reese.
That's her real name?
Yeah, Della Reese.
Oh wow, that's fire. Della Reese.
Yeah, Della Reese is her real name. Yeah, and she
Oh,
she
that's
was born in
perfect.
1931. So she's 3 years older, or 3 years younger, should I say, than Nancy Marchand, 4 years younger than Eartha Kitt. So she's right in that same age range. That's a
Oh
perfect choice, Mo.
wow, that I
Here we
thought
are in
mine
real
was
time. Young and go
no, go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was just saying I thought what I had was good, but well, I still think what I have is pretty good. I think what you had was good with the legendary actress, but this one, it might be the
Nah, she's got that
consensus.
Livia.
Yeah, she got that
Yeah,
Livia,
Eartha
bro.
Kitt got that. She got Livia in her. Like you said it perfectly. I believe she will offer son.
Yeah, and that's an important ingredient when talking about casting for Livia. For who I casted, elder woman, we know her. Most of us in the culture, we know her best from the Jeffersons.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
Mo. Let's
Huh?
go. Let's
Talk to me,
go.
baby.
Let's
uh
go.
Marla Gibbs.
Incredible choice.
Marla Gibbs. And the reason that I even thought about her trying to find elder actresses at that time is because of her work on Martin.
Bruh.
Just
I
that
swear I was
small
just about to
little
bring
like
that up.
bro, that small little flip that she's there like made for that episode. She's like, oh baby, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, she give us a little kiss, and she turned around, kind of be like, hey, y'all better get it together. Y'all better, I was like, oh, there it is. That's it. She could do it. Like she totally looks like she would be that. Oh, what's it's all a
Miss
big
Minnie,
nothing.
Miss Minnie, man.
Miss
Miss
Minnie.
Minnie and Martin. Obviously, you said it best, Mo. You know her best from as Florence Johnson and the Jeffersons and Mary
Mm-hmm.
Jenkins and 227.
Mm-hmm.
Mo, that is an incredible. And I swear, I was just about to bring up when you said her name. First thing I thought about was Martin. That's because she was only in one episode,
Yep.
and that's what you need. You need that on and off switch.
Mm-hmm.
You need to love her and also fear her in the
Yeah.
same time. And she played that part. Oh, Mo, that's incredible.
This was a hard cast, but she came up and I was like, oh, that's I just yeah. It's I don't know what it is. It's crazy. I ain't gonna even know. I can't even if I say anything else, I'm gonna spoil another character. So yes, that's my Olivia Soprano, man. But I still think Della Reese is top. Like I think that I think
I don't know, man.
I don't know. But I think that Della Reese, bro, because I think even like the stature of it all too. I don't know, bro. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know, man. Marla Gibbs is good. Marla Gibbs is a sweetheart though, but she can play. She can play both. Man, that's tough. We need everybody out there listening. We need your
Yeah.
input. We need your feedback. Like we need to know what the perfect casting would be for Black Sopranos. But that's dope, bro. That's dope. Like for real. I'm geeked about that. So we have two more immediate family members. We have Carmelo. We have Junior. Do you want to go with them, or do you want to go into some
Well,
of the other family, like Johnny Sack? Do you want to go to Dr. Melfi? Do you want to go to Paulie, Chris?
I say let's do Carmella and then let's go Johnny and then Junior. Because Junior,
Okay.
I lean more at Junior as the mob family. I lean more on that to me than I
Okay.
lean on personal. It's season one,
Well,
at least.
I'll tell you right now, I did not cast Johnny, so I want to hear your Johnny Sack right now,
Okay.
or not? Oh, Johnny Sack, excuse me. I'm thinking about Johnny Soprano. My fault.
Okay.
My fault.
Gotcha.
You meant Johnny Sack. Okay, we do have a Johnny. All right, so let's go with Carmella then.
Okay.
Who's your
So you.
Carmella? I think I went first on the last one.
Oh, okay. So okay, gotcha. So my Carmella. Let me pull up some of her films here. Now, the thing about casting Carmella that y'all all have to keep in mind is that she has to be able to have this. She's attractive enough to go out there and meet a Vic, to meet a Fatherfield, to meet, Wegler. Like she has to be able to have that bounce back where I can do the single mother thing from an attractive standpoint, a Furio. But she also has to have this submissiveness that I gotta keep my man because I'm addicted to the lifestyle and has to have this level of innocence and guilty. And no more perfect person that came to my mind when I looked through, I really looked, than Leela Rashawn. I think Roshan is how you say it.
Yeah, man. Leela Roshan. I did not think about Leela. Huh.
Leela Roshan. Let me get some of her movies. So she played in Harlem Nights, as well as Boomerang.
Sunshine.
Sunshine. She played in Any Given Sunday. For those that are, she was Vanessa Struthers.
Yeah, Willie Beeman's girl.
Yes, she played in. Let me see some of her television spots. I think that would probably help for some of our listeners that are not as familiar. Man, she was in a Training Day show, but she was in the Cosby Show. She was Veronica. I know that's not mentioned as much. 21 Jump Street for our real classic listeners. Denise
Did you
Price.
mention? Did you mention Waiting to Excel? That might be her most famous role.
That's definitely her most famous. Thank you for mentioning that. Waiting to Excel. But yes, mostly stuff of the culture. But I definitely felt she had that cross. She was one of Will's girlfriends. She was Cindy from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
She was Lisa on Wayans Brothers.
She played a real good part on there too. I liked her. But
she was Meteor Man. Yeah,
Meteor Man. But Leela Rashawn has that look. Y'all look her up. If I believe I have the picture pulled up on y'all YouTubes, but she just has that look. Like I can see her going both ways, guilty and innocent. I can see her wanting to look over the fence and but stay with her Tony Soprano. She just fit that so perfectly. A lot of the other women were a little too attractive to me, or they were too confident. And Carmella is not full blown confident. Like so, Leela Rashawn gives me more of that. I'm not like a Robin Gibbons. Like y'all know Robin Gibbons. Like she would have been an overly confident Carmella. I can't see her scaling down that even in the role. I mean, she gets typecasted. She's a wonderful actress, but Leela is definitely the fit for me. So
I like that, man. And you made a good point of this has to be someone that's not leaving Tony. Robin Givens, what you just said, like you can't. It's unrealistic to see her putting up with the bullshit, right? For as long as Carmela did. So I have a choice with that in mind
Okay.
that I thought, kind of like Dr. Melfi, where you just have to have that quality. You have to have that. You're attractive. You're smart. Everything you just said, Mo. Like you can look over the fence. You can pull something from over the fence.
Mm-hmm.
But necessarily there's still this motherly quality about you.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I picked Debbie Morgan.
Debbie Morgan. Let me see.
Debbie Morgan. A lot of people might know her as Q's mom from Love and Basketball. She was in Eve's Bayou as well, as Moselle Batiste. She was in the Hurricane. She was in the She's All That. As of recently, she was Tasha's mama on Power and Ghost. She's been in a ton of stuff, man. But like I said, Love and Basketball might be the first one where attractive woman. Definitely see her holding down the house. She looks like a housewife.
Yeah.
You can see her putting up with Tony's bullshit.
That's important.
Yeah, absolutely. But she's also like she can anybody that she wanted to get, she could have gotten.
With those dimples, come on.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I think that she was. I don't know, man. Maybe Love and Basketball is fresh on the brain because if you think about how she was treated by Zeke McCall,
that's a great pull.
And just her scenes, like that scene when Q comes home and she's out by the pool drinking. I ain't seen you drink since Marvin Gaye died, and she shows the paper. Like just that hurt. I could see her going through that in the Carmela way.
Like a White
and she's an incredible actor as well. Yeah, Whitecaps way. Absolutely. She would have bodied the Whitecaps episode.
Yeah.
Would have bodied it. So that's my pick for Carmela Soprano.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's my
Look
pick
at the pulls, bro. Pull it from over. That was a great. That's great, bro. Like this is like I'm actually this is like really being a part. I mean, obviously we're just podcasters, but like being a part of the casting crew and catching a scene and trying to figure out the depth of where were you in that moment and saying, you know what, were you tapped in there? That would work perfectly. So that's a great pull and a study right there, bro. From you being the movie guy, film guy.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, my guy.
You said you had two choices.
No, just for. Well, I'll talk about it when we get to Melfi. I had another person that could have played Carmela.
You pulled back,
but also could play Melfi. So, do you want to say Melfi for second to last, like right before Tony?
I think so.
Okay, cool. So that means we're getting into the family.
So
we not the blood family.
Yeah. So we go. Well, then we'll use Junior, and then we'll go Johnny Sack because that's the blood and the family. So we can kind of use as a transition. All right. Some of y'all might laugh me out the room. But I think this actor is really good. And I think that he could, when you think about Junior, and we always have to mention the traits of these characters because we got to put you in the mindset of how we're casting for them. When you think about a Junior is very funny. He has a very great sense of humor. And he's not necessarily trying to be funny. That's just really who he is. But Junior's also gangster. You know what I'm saying? He's very gangster. He told Mikey to go back and whack that dude season 1 just because he was talking about, just made a funny joke that he didn't like. He said, "Nah, I don't like that. Go back and go ahead and clip him." And he clipped him right on the spot. So this character has to have that gangster but funny, and then also kind of awkward, embarrassing, like going down on Roberta. Uncle Junior gives head. He has to have that aspect to him. And so, what I didn't want to say earlier because I would have spoiled the next one. I'm going Sherman Hemsley. Sherman Hemsley, bro. I think he would have been a great Uncle Junior, boy. And here's where I'm pulling from. But he's most known for the Jeffersons, George Jefferson. Bam, bam, bam. Y'all know. But he's played for those. It's a spinoff of All of the Family, All in the Family, which is one of Spike Lee's, arguably his favorite sitcom. But he's played in Incredible Hulk, Pink Lady. He's been working since the 70s. I don't think he's no longer with us, but he's been around and he's been on so many sitcoms. He's been in a few films, but the reason I chose him is because when he was on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, in the 90s, he had this, like, he was running for, they were in politics, it was him versus Phil. And he had like a real villainous thing about him where he was like going hard, and Will was so angry with him. He said, "Hey man, why don't you just drop dead?" Like, which I made a clip for a grip ago, and he literally dropped dead. But the way he was playing a villain there in that moment, I was like, "Oh, I gotta have him." And I will say this: I don't think you casted him, but I'm going to say who I almost. It was too close, but then I said, "Now I got to go with Sherman." But I almost casted Garrett.
Who?
Garrett, he was a Stanford Martin. He was Stanford Martin. He was Uncle Junior.
Oh, Gary Morris.
So yeah, Garrett Morris. I
Ooh.
really was close. I was like, because he kind of, he kind of give me that Junior vibe, and he was Junior from Jamie Foxx show. But
First black cast member of Saturday Night Live.
come on, bro. But I think Sherman Hemsley, perfect. He would have been a steam seller just like Dominic was. So yeah, gotta go with him.
Damn, man. Garrett Morris is a great. First of all, I like the Sherman Hensley, because you use the same mindset I had for my casting as far as just that comedic genius in a sense. I really like Garrett Morris, man. Now that you said that, I'm really thinking about that. He would be a perfect Uncle Junior. My choice. I'm curious to see how this is going to be perceived. This is one, I said it earlier. This is one of those where you might not see it until he actually plays the role. If I told you up front, you're gonna be like, "What? Come on, man, you're reaching a little bit." But I really think he has some. He can play dramatic, and also he's just naturally funny. A lot of people might say he's the GOAT when it comes to this. And he would have been the perfect age, and he has every complexity that Corrado has. A lot of looking back and figuring out if he did life the way he was supposed to. Probably passed up on his, not even passed up. I would say he got in his way a lot in his youth. He can portray that, and I believe he lived that as well. But my choice for Uncle Junior is Richard Pryor.
Really?
I think Richard Pryor could play a great Uncle Junior. And if you obviously, people should know who Richard Pryor is.
Yes.
There's a movie called Bustin' Loose that shout out to my brother School, man. Me and School love that movie. It's just a hilarious movie about this guy and these kids he's a bus driver, all types of nonsense, man. It's like his last shot at redemption, but just kind of that dickhead, like angry old guy. Like you could see him not having any kids. You could see him just being like in his 70s and alone, like, keep winning away, maybe have a long time Gumar, like he had with Berta. Obviously, but Harlem Nights is what really did it for me. No, JoJo Dancer is a good one for those who have seen it. For Harlem Nights, I think it's Sugar Ray. Just the way he's able to kind of play this serious gangster. You got to think in Harlem Nights, man, they were doing some real brainstorming. Like, we got this problem. We need to figure out how to figure it out. Like, it wasn't just ha ha he he. A lot of his comedy was more so natural funny. And that's what a lot of us like anyway. We like that natural, like, hey man, you just funny. I say it, I know Mo hates this. I say that about Mo all the time. Like, Mo, you just a funny dude. Like, you just a funny guy. And like he's still like, I don't know what you mean when you say that, man. I don't like,
funny how?
Yeah, but it's just one of those, man. This is just a funny dude. And that's what I think about Richard Pryor, obviously, but not because he's up there telling jokes, but because he can carry it that way. There's a beautiful pain about him.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You can tell he's lived through some things, he's seen some things. And I could see Tony on the couch at Uncle June's house trying to get advice. How do you handle the Chris situation? How do you handle that? And it coming off as real but funny at the same time. I think Richard Pryor would be a great choice.
You think he can get that tear off? He's like, why don't you love me? Don't you love me? You think Richard can get that moment off with Junior? They pan in the camera and he's just looking. Yeah. I'm looking at Richard at his older age, and I'm liking it. He started to wear the glasses a little bit more. I'm liking it. I'm a big fan of comedians going dramatic. So I think both of us,
man.
with him and Sherman Hemsley, I think those are really good juniors, bro. I think this is a neck and neck situation right there, bro.
Isn't it funny how we both lean towards that comedy side, even though Junior's not like he's a comedic character, but not because he's funny like that. He's just, him and Paulie, I think, have that same characteristic. Where
Okay.
Paulie's more of like funny, just like I can't believe this dude moves like this.
Yeah.
Junior just funny, like old man funny, like just angry old man. You're miserable, bro.
Yeah, and it's hard, and I guess it's hard to gauge a serious actor trying to be funny without being funny. It's very possible, obviously, just like the actor Dominic, but I guess it's just hard to cast it when we're actually, obviously we're not really casting, whatever. But so I think going a comedian serious route is an easier form to cast or whatnot.
Yeah, and I think that he's at the point of his life, Richard Pryor, at this time where he can pull it off. Like even when you think about somebody like Steve Carell, because I'll be honest, in my late teens, early 20s, I used to hate this. I used to hate when comedic actors would try to go dramatic. Like, bro, we like you being funny. Like, be funny. And don't get out that lane, bro. You killing it in this lane. The first person I think of is Steve Carell. Michael Scott on The Office, 40-year-old version, all this other stuff. And then slowly but surely he gets into that series bag. And now, as I look at him in 2024, it's almost hard to remember that he was a comedic actor because he does such a great job just being, in the drama role. Like he does, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
But he can still turn it on because some of his stuff was so goofy. But I think with Richard, he never really was goofy.
No.
Like it was just funny. He was just funny. It's just funny dude. He has a certain way of looking at life. The same way Uncle Junior does. And that was a big reason for my choice.
Well, you didn't sold me on that, boy. I ain't gonna even lie. Like you bodied that. I'm liking.
I appreciate it, man.
I dang near want him as Junior. You know what I mean? Rest in peace.
But I will say that I love the fact that we both lean towards that comedic. Like we need somebody that can pull off that funny because you can't have Uncle Junior just straight up being,
the straight guy,
the straight man. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Okay,
all right, man. I guess Johnny Sack.
Yeah, so that's on you first, then, right?
That's on me first. All right. Oh man.
Actually,
so there's two people. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Never mind. Go ahead.
So there's two people that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
One person is I kind of wanted to leave him out just because he's in another, what a lot of people would say, top 5 series of all time. He plays an iconic character. I'm going to go with my choice, and I'm going to go with who I originally thought of.
Okay.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Is this who?
Gus from Breaking Bad.
I gotta hear your reasoning, brother. I know it's different guys.
Well, I didn't go with him.
Oh, okay.
He's just somebody that I thought could play that. All right, so when I think of Johnny Sack, we think about how sly he is, but also you think about how cool he is and his gift of gab, and just for some reason, anytime Johnny Sack is brought up, I think about drawing that cigarette and just looking cool while doing it. And I just think Giancarlo has that. He played Bugging Out and Do the Right Thing. Gus Fring, obviously, in Breaking Bad. He's been in a ton of stuff, man. It's Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah. Still active.
Still active, man. He's got actually a new series coming out this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Just did what? Kaleidoscope?
Where he plays the driver. He just did Kaleidoscope, but he's got a new series coming out where he's going to be playing like a getaway driver, some sort of. I can't remember the name of it. You guys will probably see previews for it soon. And I can't even remember what station it's on. It might be an AMC show as well, another one. I'm not sure. Don't give me the line.
Side question real quick. Do you think that he could have played instead of Denzel, the Equalizer?
Nah.
Too small in stature?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been believable.
Okay.
In my opinion.
If he was
could
a bigger
don't
guy,
get me wrong.
Like if he, because I'm just thinking like in a Gus way where it's like that, how he does the watch thing. I'm like, but he's so small in stature. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's the brains of the operation. He played Cassius Clay Sr. and Ali. I know we brought that up before. He's been in a ton of stuff, man. Incredible actor. I didn't choose him. The person that I did choose, that just has that cool, calm, collected New York type of feels to him. And I'm going to go back to my love and basketball bag. I'm going to go with Dennis Haysbert.
Dennis.
I think Dennis Haysbert would have been a great Johnny Sack. He played Zeke McCall in Love and Basketball.
Oh, that's good.
If you watch TV and you watch your
that's
commercials,
that's
the
good.
All State, you're in good hands. He's that guy.
That's
He was
good.
in Heat. The kitchen cook, the black dude in Heat. I guess is the best way to say it. The black dude in Heat. A lot of great roles, man. Dennis Haysbert is just that. I think 24. I think a lot of people who aren't
Yeah.
of the culture
Mm-hmm.
will probably know him. I think believe he played the president in 24.
Great president too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he would have been a great Johnny Sack. There's just that he was
Mhm.
he was in Waiting to Excel as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's this I don't know what side of the fence he's playing. I don't know if he's playing me right now. Just a smooth way. He makes you feel comfortable, but you also, by the time you finish your drink, you realize you done poured your whole life story out to this guy because he has a way of just kind of bringing it out of you.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he would have played very well as Johnny Sack, and a little bit. I can see him as the family man, as somebody who would, I don't have any gumars. I love my wife. That whole thing.
Definitely can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And losing is cool about the smallest stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good factor that you have to have. Yeah, absolutely. Very petty. So I think you have to have all of that when you're talking about Johnny Sack. So that's going to be my choice.
Okay. Another comedic actor we've lost too soon. I think this would have blew him over this would have got him in a whole different space if he was still around. A lot of y'all will know him. We definitely know him in the culture, but there's movies he's been in, shows he's been involved in that you will have known him for. But he's definitely been nominated. You may know him from Kings of Comedy. I'm going Bernie Mac.
I'm not mad at it.
The reason I'm going Bernie Mac is because I see this. I kept seeing this vision. I kept seeing the cigarette first off. I kept seeing a cigarette. I kept seeing like a leather jacket. I kept seeing a hat on. And then I recently had seen again on the Wayne Brothers, Shank, him playing the character of Shank. And when he was pretty much like Marlon was dating his sister. And so he pretty much was in a pool hall and he was a gangster on there. And, he got Sean up out of there. He got Pops up out of there. He got Marlon up out of there. You gonna marry my sister. But then at the end, when his sister found out it was like a sham, she's like, why you gotta bring mama into this? Why you gotta? So there was that flip where it's like, oh, and I said, oh, Bernie Mac can play serious in a dope way. I think he could do this, but y'all may know Bernie Mac that are not necessarily black. Mr. 3000, Ocean, Stan Ross, Ocean 12. He was Frank Catton. Guess Who? Percy Jones. Those are some of the kind of movies that y'all may have known him for outside of the culture. Us, of course, we know him Booty Call, Babs Friday, Above the Rim, House Party 3, Who's the Man, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Ocean. My fault. Ocean's 11, 12, and 13. I want to make sure
11, 12. Thank you, sir. Yeah, got to give
to the point where, and to your point, real quick, Mo. 13, to your point,
yeah.
And one of those, George Clooney had an interview once on one of the Ocean movies. It might have been 12, and he was just saying like, "Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like Bernie is like washing people. Like Bernie's in a whole different bag when it comes to this dramatic type of acting."
Mm-hmm.
And he never got started. School always says that. And I believe School, when I was talking to him about we might be doing this, or we are doing this, he mentioned, like, man, you got to find a way to get Bernie in there somewhere. I don't have him on my list, but I'm glad you mentioned him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy that you even said his name. But yeah, you're absolutely right, because that's the one thing about Bernie. He was just getting started as far as his real dramatic acting bag, and I think he would have excelled well. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean to cut you off, but it wasn't just us that's saying that. Like I said, people like George Clooney were also saying, like, yo, this guy, he's got something.
Yeah, and he fits that lone wolf vibe too, right? Like Johnny Sack, he feels a part of it, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in season 1. So, but a runner-up that probably could have worked well is a pick that you had as a runner-up. I think Don Cheadle could have been Johnny Sack as well. I didn't have him on my list, but he definitely could have been. I could see him being like going crazy about his wife. I could see him smoking that cigarette, being cool as a fan. I can totally see Don Cheadle doing it as well. But I go Bernie Mac, man. I think this would have been something where people would have seen him and been like, "Oh, he's a comedian." What I didn't know he did anything prior. This would have been like one of the moments where it's like, "Oh, dang," So yeah, Bernie Mac. I think I did casted quite a few comedians so far, man. I guess I'm a fan of comedians, serious actors. Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. The show needs it. Listen, there's an audience, there's a nice, sizable audience who debates whether or not The Sopranos is a drama or a comedy.
Yeah,
Like those discussions are had,
yeah,
which sound crazy when you look at it on surface, but when you sit down and think about it, it's not as crazy. Like
no,
Sopranos is a very funny show.
yes, it is.
As you hear us laugh week in, week out. So absolutely. That's a great choice, man. I like it. I like it. All right. You want to go Sil, Paulie, or Chris?
You know what? Let's get Paulie out the way. I had Seal next, but let's go Paulie.
All right, man. So look,
This is a hard cast for me. Not gonna lie.
I feel you. These Paulie and Sil were, they were difficult. They were difficult, man. Chris was a little bit more. This is exactly who I thought of.
Yep.
One of those. It didn't take too long for me. But Paulie was one that took a little bit of time, as well as Sil. And I want to say, I would be remiss to say, this actor that I'm about to mention is one of the reasons, or one of the people we think of right away when we think of Culture Garden. Culture Garden podcast celebrating film within the culture, and just one of those gems, one of those stars that just doesn't get enough recognition in the mainstream. In the culture, he does, because he's been in everything. He's been in everything. I believe he has 280 acting credits. Has been in pretty much every classic black movie that you might be able to think of.
Oh, I think I might know. Hold on.
He has a serious side to him and also a funny side to him. He has the perfect blend, I think, of what Paulie Walnuts is. I believe that he could easily go in and whack a guy. And also, I see him taking his mom out and his mom's friends. I can see him putting the pillow over his mom's friend, air quotes, face, so he can rob her and get even with Tony. Catch up with Tony. You say you think I know where you think you know where I'm going. Now, I want to hear who it is.
You said comic funny. I don't. Yeah, funny's different. I didn't know. I don't know now.
I'm going with the legendary, an icon, a pillar in the culture, Clifton Powell.
Oh man, Clifton is Paulie.
Is my Paulie Walnuts. Absolutely. Because
okay, I gotta hear
if you've seen Clifton Powell, so all right, he's like I said, he's been in a million things. He's been in Ray. He's Pinky from Next Friday. So there's your comedic, like your comedy right there.
Mm-hmm.
Just that I'm playing, but I'm not playing. That type of thing. That's it right there for you. But also just incredible acting chops. If anybody's seen Dead Presidents,
that's funny
with Lorenz Tate.
That's funny you mentioned that.
Because there is a scene where, all right, so Lorenz, if you don't know anything about Dead Presidents, long story short, Lorenz Tate's character goes off to war, comes back. He comes back to like see his old girl, but obviously he's been to war. So y'all know what time it is. Especially back in them days, based off the Vietnam War, man, your girl's been doing her own thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's got this older guy, it's almost like a sugar daddy, who looks out for her. But he's a dickhead to Lorenz Tate's character. And there's this scene where they have an altercation. And the way he plays it is so smooth and so gangster. And pretty much lets him know, like, bro, you ain't fucking with me. Like, I'm the nigga that's been taking care of your family. He plays it in a cool way. He could have easily killed him, but didn't. Like, it had Paulie Walnuts written all over it.
You think so?
Clifton Powell, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely. I see. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna spoil something. He was a cast, but he was a season 2 cast, and you know who I'm gonna say. When you think
season 2 cast for what?
For Sopranos. Like I had him, but I was like, okay, we're doing on season 1. But when you think season 2, who's the first character you think of when you think season 2?
Richie. Okay, I can see him as Richie too.
He would have been a menace, boy. But
there's another actor who I had for Paulie, but I don't think he's as funny. And I moved into the.
I guess that's why I got to look for the funny. I mean, there's what is it? Menace to Society.
Have you ever seen Chauncey and Menace to Society?
That's kind of
me and school talk about this all the time. Have you ever seen Who Made the Potato Salad?
Yeah, I ain't seen it in a long time, but I know we was crying when we first watched it.
Yeah, man. Like bruh, I'm telling you, Clifton Powell is just one of those unsung heroes in the culture.
Yeah, yes,
he can do it all. He can do it all. He played in The Brothers. He's Morris Chestnut's dad. He's been in everything. He's been in everything, man. And I just think he would body Paulie Walnuts. Like I think he got it.
I think he got it. Man. I actually, you know what? The more you say, I can see it. I think he will be a less comedic, but like a still a F up like Paulie. Like I can see him being like he don't be getting the job like what we just seen with like Seal. Like, hey, hey, you worry about your perception. Listen here, my little friend. Like, nobody know what the future holds. Like I could totally see him kind of. I think that funny, but it doesn't have to be the same exact thing. But I think I can see like that. Paulie just kind of casually like not getting the job done like that.
I'm thinking about Pine Barrens, and I'm just thinking about him losing to Russian, and I'm thinking about
Like, say it again. Say it again.
I'm thinking about Pinky mixed with Chauncey from
that Chauncey is really good.
Minister Society. Like that scene in Minister Society when the white dude comes. The fuck you doing over here so early, man? I told you I don't like nobody coming around here. You told me to come at this time. I don't give a fuck what I said, motherfucker. Like just that kind of like him back and forth. Like I can see him in the van with Chris.
And
like
the
just
dude
going
kept
back and
on
forth and getting
him
into
on,
it.
bro. Like,
yeah, man. I
right.
just see it.
Okay, you saw me.
That
makes that Chauncey is a good bit, actually. I think that's a good, okay. Yeah. That's a good pick.
Who you got?
My pick, it's not really comedic. So I had a really challenge with this. But you mentioned dead presidents, and I'm going Keith David, man.
Can I tell you that Keith? Can I tell you? I'll tell you right now. Keith David was my second choice for Seal.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep, he was my second choice for Seal.
Keith David. Let me pull up his wiki.
You know what role? You know what role that I think of? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and do that.
No,
but you know what role I think of?
What do you
know what role I think of with Keith David that makes me think he would be the perfect Paulie Walnuts?
What?
Lester Wallace in Barbershop.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Lester
good.
Wallace in Barbershop.
That's really good. That is really good.
That lets you know he can play this role. That performance right there lets you know he can play this.
So I was pulling from Dead Presidents. He had, what is it, one leg, right?
Yeah, he had the one leg.
One leg, okay. So it was just something comedic that wasn't supposed to be funny about when somebody owed him money and they snatched his leg. And so he's still working, dude.
Everybody in this town know I got one bad leg. This motherfucker gonna grab the wrong one.
Right. Like that's, to me, it's like that's Paulie, where Paulie can put the work in, but Paulie, he's always got some kind of look at him.
That's a perfect. That's what I was pulling from. I'm sorry. That scene is exactly what Paulie Walnut scene, because he's not trying to be funny at all. He's really angry.
Yeah, he's real bad.
But you watch it, you get weak. Everybody knows. Everybody in this town knows I got a bad leg, and he grabbed the wrong one, bro. That shit's a Paulie Walnut slide.
Bro, let me rob you. Like, let me rob you regular. Don't grab my prosthetic leg, bro.
That's great, bro.
Yeah, so that's where I was pulling from. Like I said, I think that he can get some funny off. For those that don't know, he's played in. He was Mr. and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He was a father. Transporter 2. He was the agent. Stapleton. I'm just jumping around here. Of course, Barbershop, Lester Wallace. Head of State, Bernard Cooper. Behind Enemy Lines. What would you say?
Armageddon's a big one. General Kimsey.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's hard to. He's got very extensive filmography that he's been involved in. It's hard to pick which ones to go with. But yeah, so he also voices a lot of. He's voiced quite a few cartoon characters. He has a very strong, distinctive, and he's a stage actor. So I definitely think he can get the comedy chops off. And he's a little older too. I thought that I need somebody a little older, but yet active. They look like, and that's when I went to Dead Presidents to say, okay, he can get busy. He ain't gonna be as fast as the rest of them, but I can see him chasing down Mikey Palmisi with who I have as Christopher. Like, I can see that. So it was kind of a hard pick. I was like, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I'm not fully sure, but like the way I guess we just laughed about that scene kind of solidified, like, okay, we can use Keith David. And he wasn't fully the Keith David, at least that we were familiar with, like at this point in my opinion.
Nah.
So I think he could have really did that.
Nah, man. And that's somebody, one of the things that I took in mind when I was casting was like, who are those actors that are just some beast?
Yeah.
That maybe don't have that standout role. Like the same way we were trying to reference them, like they might not have that one role, like everybody knows them from this, that would body it. And he's one of the ones that I thought of.
I like that.
He was also, he was a reverend in,
Greenleaf.
Death at a Funeral. Yeah, for those who have seen that, he's been in a ton of stuff, man. He's been in a ton. He's kind of similar to Clifton Powell, where
Yeah, he
the
is.
acting credits don't end. First Sunday, all types of stuff. So that's a great. What I'm really loving about what we're doing right now is finding those one scenes or moments where it's like, okay, that this movie and this role helps me see it.
Hmm.
That Dead Presidents was a good call.
Yeah, thank you. That's important in the casting. Like if you're watching people, you gotta like that's how they cast. Rest in peace to James Gandolfini. You know, I forgot what they said. They were looking at him in was it a dream car named Desire? Is that what it was called? Or
I'm not sure,
it was one of those films. If I'm incorrect, y'all correct me, please. I'm not necessarily the deep movie guy like that, but I think it was that movie or it was along the lines of that. But they seen a
but
moment.
I was just gonna say True Romance. If you've seen True Romance, that was like a clear cut one of those like, man, you see if you see James Gandolfini in this, like you need to put him
Yeah,
on a short list for Tony Sopranos. I know True
yeah.
Romance came out in the early '90s, but
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely,
So yeah, it's just that. So that and it's funny. We wasn't thinking in the Soprano casting mindset, but it's funny that like you said, we're using scenes that kind of say, hey, they can do this, they can do this. So I'm loving that. So that was a great pull, bro. Um,
absolutely, man. All right, so I think it's your turn now. We are on Silvio Dante,
Silvio Dante,
the number two.
the number two, arguably the definition of Gary Cooper, the strong silent
Mm-hmm.
type.
Mm-hmm.
And the
I
person I
can't wait to hear
cast,
yours.
the thought process was, I don't know if we need to be that overstated. You know, there's this thing about this actor that is really good. Seal is a really he only speaks when it's time to speak. He has a silence about him, a strength about him. He has a I'm business first, but I can get my hands dirty if I need to. He has that look like he's a consigliere, so he has that vibe like I know what I'm talking about, but I'll wait until I'm asked about it. You know, kind of like our intro here. Frankly, I was surprised. Um, and the person I cast for this is Isaiah Washington. Isaiah
Okay.
Washington always looks like he knows what's up. He if y'all may know him, the big one of the biggest roles I feel like in the mainstream was him in Grey's Anatomy. He was Dr.
Yeah.
Preston Burke. For
In the
those, but
culture,
yeah,
in the culture, you definitely know it from Love Jones.
definitely from Love Jones. He played in so many. Romeo Must Die. He was Mac in there. Hurricane Season. That one, I don't know why I mentioned that one. Uh,
I thought hurricane season was over. Shout out to shout out to Pineapple Express, man,
yeah, man.
and Marla Gibbs. Marla Gibbs actually said that line, and I think
There.
it was
Look at that.
Jefferson's.
The
Yeah,
tie-in,
man, this is all coming full circle.
full circle, baby. True crime. He was Frank Lewis Beecham. Of course, Dead Presidents, as well as Clocker, Stonewall, Crooklyn, Strapped. But yeah, but like I said, he played in Grey's Anatomy. He just always looks like he knows what's going on. He gives me that consigliere, like I'm the number two. Maybe I'll be the boss, maybe I won't. I'm gonna stay in my lane at all costs. Isaiah Washington gives me that vibe. That's how I've always felt about him. He just feels like such a solid dude when I see him, as far as his acting roles.
Well, I like that choice. There's an actor who has also starred with Isaiah Washington in a few of those films that you mentioned
Hmm.
that I just think screams the role of Silvio Dante, the Gary Cooper strong silent type, the person that has seen a lot and knows a lot, knows when to speak, knows when to be quiet, knows when to go off the record. Another Titan, I mean, incredible, phenomenal actor. If you're not familiar with his work, my Silvio Dante is Delroy Lindo. Delroy Lindo, who plays West Indian
I
Archie and Malcolm X.
I love him.
He plays Woody in Crooklyn, the dad. He's Rodney in Clockers. Bo Catlett, for those of you who like Get Shorty, I think Get Shorty's an incredible film. He's Bo Catlett in that. He's for those who love This Christmas, that came out in 2007. He's Joseph Black.
Mm-hmm.
He was in The Five Bloods, which came out recently with uh Spike Lee production.
Mm-hmm.
The Harder They Fall, Romeo Must Die,
And Gone in
Delroy
60
Lindo.
Seconds. That was a good joint too. With
Yeah, man. I think Delroy Lindo is that perfect person where he's trustworthy. You don't have to worry about him trying to take over the empire. But man, I would love to go to him for some advice if I'm in a pickle or if I'm in a jam.
I like this one.
Um, if something did happen to Tony, I think things will keep flowing. He has the respect.
Hmm.
I love Delroy Lindo in that role. There's something about him, especially when you've seen him as Rodney in
Hmm.
Clockers. If you know anything about that film and the role he plays, if you know anything about West Indian Archie and Malcolm X, like all of these roles that he's played, man, he's just got an incredible bag.
Hmm.
And I just think that he's a perfect seal. Like I just couldn't get him out of my head when I thought about this role, and that's my choice.
I like that. Who's your Paulie again? You said
Clifton Powell.
Clifton Powell. I guess I'm trying to get a slight age gauge for them two going out on missions. I guess
they're about because Paulie and Seal are about the same age, right?
I guess Sill's probably a little older than Paulie.
Yeah, Seal's a little bit older, right around there.
Play him up a little bit.
Yeah, some of them you can. Let's see.
I like that though.
Let's look up their ages for this. Delroy Lindo was born in 1952. Clifton Powell was born in 1956. So there you go.
So they
slightly
play, yeah. So they could play around with yeah. I love Delroy Lindo, man. Like this dude, he just has such a comfort about him that would be perfect for Seal.
Yeah, man.
I love it. That's a great pick, bro.
I appreciate you, my brother. All right.
Yeah, man.
We got 3 more choices, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I feel like Delroy Lindo is LeBron James's father, man.
A lot of people have said that, man. I can see it. I can see it for sure.
Yeah. And, all right, our 3. So we got Chris, Melfi, and Tony.
Yeah, Chris, Melfi, and Tony. So we're going with Chris right now.
Okay, Chris. I'm very curious
Chris right
if
now.
We got the same one here, bro. I am not going to lie when I tell y'all I don't feel like there's a better person, but then he'll come by as Rich does and he'll spray up the block. Got him.
I don't know. I don't know, man, because you've had some where I'm just like, oh man, you bodied me on that.
I mean, you've been coming back with him like, I ain't think of it like that. This gentleman,
all right, man.
This gentleman,
it's on me first, I guess. I'll save the dramatics for you. I'll save the dramatics for you.
Oh, Howard ready.
Okay. This is the first person I thought of when I thought about Christopher Moltisanti. A key part of this is thinking about 1999 from 07. So being in that same age range and being the young guy, the young buck, that could have pulled this off. And he might even be close to the same age as my Tony. But I think that he would there's something about him. He has all of the complexities of Christopher Moltisanti, especially in his younger years in his roles, because he's been active in Hollywood for quite some time. I'm going to go with the original roadie. You might know him as DJ from Hustle and Flow. He played one of the Jackson brothers in the Jackson American Dream, American Saga, whatever it's called. He was in Crash. He was Lieutenant Green in Four Brothers. I'm going with Terrence Howard as Christopher Moltisanti.
I like that. The young, yeah. And I'm looking at the young, yeah.
Looking at the young, obviously Quentin and Best Man.
Yeah.
Been in a ton of stuff, man. He was in Get Rich or Die Trying as Bama. Really focusing on that young.
Yeah, I'm looking
Big
at
Mama's House version. Big Mama's House version of Terrence Howard.
That's a scary version right there.
Players Club. But you kind of have some of that scary / Jackie Jackson. So when I think about Chris, I think about Jackie Jackson. The Jackson's an American Dream. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that young, he's been in some other stuff. He played Cowboy, speaking of Dead President. Cowboy and Dead Presidents. Perfect. That's it. That's Chris Moltisanti.
Yep.
That's Chris Moltisanti right there.
Yeah. That's good.
Like that's it. That's it. If you've seen Dead Presidents and you know Terrence Howard, don't think about current day Terrence Howard. You got to think about the younger version. Just that knucklehead. You've got the potential. If you can just stay out of your own way, man, you can really do some things in this world. And that's my choice, man. I'm going with Terrence Howard. And I know there's probably, I can't wait to hear people's feedback.
Oh man.
I can't wait to hear it. Because I want the people to say, well, you tripping, you crazy. Yeah. I want the smoke, man. But yeah, I'd love to hear who you have.
Oh man. And when I say this, you're gonna know exactly where I'm going. Because I see where you're going, but I'm thinking drug head. And when I'm
Okay.
thinking drug head, I'm pulling from a movie in the 90s. And I think about the scene every time. It's two brothers. Brothers together and tears are shed. He's like, am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's
Oh,
keeper? Yes. I'm
ah, this
going
is great.
Alan Payne, boy.
My
Hey, what we talking?
salute to you.
Bro,
Salute to you, bro. You
bro.
got it. You got it. You got it.
Alan Payne, bro.
You got it.
He's known for in the culture, of course, Jason's lyric. He's Jason. Um, he's been in the Tuskegee Airmen, 30 Years to Life, Blue Hill Avenue, great, which is a great pool.
G Money,
G Money,
obviously.
what we know him from. He may not be as known for the crossover films, but he is, man. When I think about him, and I think about New Jack City, bro, like it's Christopher Moltisanti all over. He's the, I mean, he's about the same age as, obviously Wesley Snipes' character was, but man, it's just like how he's on his business, he's on top of things, but then he turns around and the drugs he's supposed to be selling on the side, he ended up getting addicted to, similar to Christopher Moltisanti. Then also how Tony, I don't want to spoil for our new listeners, but like him and man, Nino Brown taking his girl, and there's some Soprano reference there. So it's like, bro, Alan Payne, bro. I can see the tears in his eyes. I can see him high, drugged up. I said, bro, he was the set. He probably was the easiest cast. When I say I seen him on the list, I say, oh my God, Alan Payne, bro.
That's great, man. That Tony reference that you don't want to spoil, I think that's coming early to mid season 5.
Yep.
I know it's season 5. I think it's like in the
it's
first
definitely
4.
Season 5.
First 4, maybe first 5 episodes. So that's funny that you say that. That's a great choice, man.
Yeah, man. Alan Payne would have bodied this, bro. So he's my
That's a
Christopher
great
Moltisanti.
choice. I like it. I like it, man.
Yeah,
I like it. We're getting down to the end.
Uh-oh.
So I think it's only right that I'm gonna leave Tony to you going last. I'm gonna save your, this is just paying homage to you.
Oh, thanks.
I'll let you have Tony as last and be the last choice. As far as I'll go first. So on this one, if you want to go first on Dr. Melfi,
okay,
you can go ahead, and I want to see. I love to hear who you have as Dr. Melfi, man. This is one. Like I said, if it wasn't for the age thing, I would have picked Journey. I think she would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But thinking about actors or actresses from 99 to 2007 who would have been the same age as Dr. Melfi, Lorraine Bracco, and we kind of played that role, I would love to hear who you got. So let's roll it out, brother.
Okay, so she's probably younger than what she should be. She probably would be a better fit maybe now with the age reference to like Melfi, but I kind of suspended that just a slight bit because she always had kind of an older soul in a way. But we think Melfi, like you said, she has to be attractive enough for Tony to come on to her, but she also has to be reserved enough to keep professionalism at the forefront of everything, even in an episode like Employee of the Month. I need a strong lead, a person that has a Lorraine Bracco going from what she played on Goodfellas to how she scaled back into that therapy voice and vibe and thinking and understanding. I think this character could do this. This actress by the name of Tracee Ellis Ross. I can totally see Tracee Ellis Ross. Got the legs crossed. The legs is already there. I can see her with the glasses on. I can see her with the voice, with the slight rasp, kind of like Melfi. I could totally see her counseling. I mean, y'all may know her from Girlfriends. She was on CSI. She was Gloria Parks in an episode, and she was in Bad Girls. She was Rachel. Blackish is her probably biggest claim to fame outside of Girlfriends is Joan Clayton, but Blackish, she's Rainbow. Of course, she voices Grownish, and she's been on Mixed Dish, all the spinoffs, and Kids in the Hall, all that good stuff. She's been everywhere. She's got a very dope catalog as far as what she's involved in. I could totally see her playing this. I think this would have been her breakout. This might have came right. The Girlfriends might have not came after this because of what this would have done for her career. If I'm casting her as Melfi, she would have just. I can see it. Hair braided all the way back, glasses on. Same fit, same attire, everything. Mr. Soprano, boom. So Tracy Ellis Ross for me, man.
I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it, man. I'm going a little bit more. Uh, for some reason, this person just fits that mold. So there are two people I thought of. I'll name the first one, and then I'll name who I ended up landing on. So the first person I thought of was Vanessa Williams.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah,
Soul
yeah.
Food,
Okay.
obviously Terry.
Yeah.
You have her in. She played in Hoodlum. She's been in a ton of stuff, man. Eraser.
Mm,
She's a singer as well.
you're right.
But
That's
that's not
good.
who I landed on. There's someone who I think that just for some reason when I think of her and I think of her roles, she might be typecast into like a Dr. Melfi type of role. Not necessarily being a doctor, but just kind of that bourgeois, classy, um, Baldwin Hills type black person. You know,
Mm.
she comes from money. Her parents did well. She does well for herself, things as well. And the perfect person for Dr. Melfi, I think, is Lynn Whitfield. Lynn
Man,
Whitfield.
I wish I
If
would
you
have thought of that. Oh my gosh.
so, she's probably. I mean, she's known for a ton of stuff. She was also on Eve's Bayou. As far as like just funny cultural stuff, Brandy Webb from A Thin Line Between Love and Hate with Martin Lawrence. She's been in. Sheesh, what else? Redemption, the Tookie Williams story. For anybody who's seen that, uh, a ton of things, man. A ton of
Head of state.
what else was she? Head of state, yes, head of state. I'm trying to think. Her resume is long, and she's done a lot. She's been in the Shaw Medea's Family Reunion
Mm-hmm.
as Victoria, but Lynn Whitfield just has that elegance. She is a very attractive woman.
Mm-hmm.
One that doesn't, like I said, I could never. She's that classy, sexy,
Mm-hmm.
that old school style. Like I don't have to show too much, but I still have that sex appeal. You want to know more about her. She's definitely one that if you approach her, you approach her as a wife. You will never approach her as like, hey, shorty, let me get your number. I'm trying to do some things with you. Like she doesn't even give off that energy. She gives off Dr. Melfi. I got my own shit going on, but I'm here to help. I can see her
Mm-hmm.
resisting the urge of somebody like Tony.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good call.
Um, she plays it very well, man. I just for some reason I see that. I see her in the office with her glasses, just staring across that room at Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And really trying to help him out and really trying to be that voice and also being shook when Tony tells her she has to go on the lam and things like that. Also having a failed relationship with somebody like Richard and just trying to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all of it, man. I just see Lynn Whitfield. She just screams that character for me. So
I
that's
think
what I'm
that,
rolling with.
and that's fire because again, like the Lorraine Bracco going from Goodfellas to totally different. I think her would be like the same thing, being how she casted in certain things prior, and then this is being like a more scaled professional version. I think I would go with your pick there because I really like that. And I never thought about the switch up there, and that's just a perfect, bro. I like that. All right, bro. The moment everybody's been waiting for of the episode. Here we go. Tony. Ah.
Um, I want to look up one thing real quick. I just want to see. I believe they're the same age.
Okay.
This person is James Gandolfini. But I want to double check. I believe they are because yes, they were both born the same exact year, which was a big. I thought of this person. There's a few people that I thought of just based off build,
Mm-hmm.
and then I started thinking about demeanor, thinking about
Yeah.
the character of Tony Soprano versus what he looks like
Yeah.
and what we need out of that character, man. And I also think about the perspective of James Gandolfini wasn't
Oh,
necessarily
we got the
like.
same person. Uh-oh.
Hold on, you think so?
I'll keep going. I will tell. I think we got the same
Woo!
person. Oh my gosh! If
You,
this
hold on, you know how
happens,
crazy it would be. You know how crazy it would be if we make it to the end. We haven't had the similar person yet,
nope.
but this person,
Oh man.
he is, in my opinion, top five actor of all time, like black actor for sure. Top five black actor of all time, and one that doesn't get enough credit for his acting chops and his expertise. And he's played in some famous, iconic roles. He's been someone by the name of Dap Dunlap in School Days. He's been someone by the name of Furious Styles in Boys in the Hood.
Okay, never mind. We don't got the same person. Okay.
Okay, then. Furious Styles of Boys in the Hood. He's been Ike Turner. What's Love Got to Do with It? Professor Maurice Phipps in Higher Learning. The range of this man. Bumpy Johnson in Hoodlum. Morpheus in Matrix. The range of this gentleman.
Wow.
All those different roles that I've named. That tough demeanor. If you've seen, and Spike's listening to this, he's probably thinking about this film right here. And this is the one where I think you can call back and say, that's your Tony Soprano right there. Or there's Tony in this character. There's a movie called Deep Cover. And there's also a movie called King of New York. Where I think if you mix those personalities, especially King of New York. If you've ever seen King of New York, and he played a character by the name of my fault, man. I can't think of today. Who did he play? What's the character's name? Jimmy Jump. Excuse me, Jimmy Jump. Jimmy Jump in King of New York. I believe that has Christopher Walken in it. Lawrence Fishburne is my Tony Soprano.
Oh man, I like that.
Lawrence Fishburne. I think as you would have think in 1999 he would have been the same way he just gave James Gandolfini, about 38. I'm not all the way there yet. I think about that scene with him and Chris chasing down the dude in the pilot in the car. I can see Lawrence Fishburne doing that, and I can also see him elevating, adding on the weight, adding on more power, not putting up with any bullshit from New York or anybody else for that matter.
Yeah.
Somebody that he's feared. He can be a family man. He can be dad. You see a soft side with Meadow. You see him neglecting AJ. You see him stepping out on Carmela. Most importantly, you see him running a family, and you see him going to counsel. Like I said, when I think of him, and I think of Uncle June on the couch and him getting advice and him just trying to figure out where to take this thing, and being, I was actually in Dr. Melky's office as well. I can see him trying to figure out why he's at the end of it. He's not going to experience the same thing that his dad and his Uncle Junior had, but also is going to make the most of what he has. Lawrence Fishburne is it for me.
That is crazy, bro. I love that pick. I didn't even think about Lawrence.
That's my Tony Soprano, man. I just,
perfect.
oh man, I just think it would be perfect.
That is perfect, bro. Ah, that's perfect. He definitely would have been in consideration. Well, I'll tell you.
Now I'm curious to who yours is.
Born in the same year.
Okay.
61. Before that, a close pick, very close. I mean, very close, bro. For me, I almost went Michael Beach.
Because that's interesting.
Michael Beach has the ability to make you love him and hate him, feel bad for him, and be pissed at him. Michael Beach is really, he just does. I don't know how he does this. Like, I felt he would have been and he would have been again like one of them, like, oh, he ain't really got big yet as far as celeb standpoint or actors, he wasn't. So I think this would have, him putting Sopranos on his back, I think for the longest it was Michael Beach until about Wednesday. I was going to the grocery store getting some formula for my baby. I was thinking about, I don't know, I was still kind of thinking about a list of actors. I maybe over scrolled through all like 700 and it came to me so clear. And I realized I started to think about some of the things, rest in peace, the late, great Jimmy Gandolfini would talk about. Thing that stood out to me was like, can you believe this? You can believe they cast this mug? Talk about kind of his look and how he had, he didn't look at himself as like such an attractive guy. But he became very attracted to women. Women were very attracted to him as the series went on because of that swagger, because of that demeanor. And once that clicked in my head, it changed my whole everything. I don't know why I thought about this. And I said, here it is. I'm going Forrest Whitaker, bro. This man right here.
Hold on, real quick. Can I just real quick before you get into it?
Yeah.
Let me say two things to what you just said. One, he was on my short list.
Okay.
Forrest Whitaker was definitely on my short list. Like he was one of the ones where I thought about it before I landed on it. If it wasn't Lawrence Fishburne, it would have been Forrest. So I love the fact that you picked him. Also, want to point out one important thing that you said that I think is perfect. When Culture Garden did Our Family Wedding, he plays Lance Gross's dad in that film. He's the bachelor type of old school type of dad, but he's a bachelor, kind of a player. Me and Rachel specifically discussed, and she mentioned herself. I never thought about Forrest Whitaker as like sex from a sex appeal standpoint, but he pulls it off. And he's
Yes.
somebody you wouldn't have thought of. Like he's not the guy. So it's perfect what you just said, Mo. He's not the guy you would think of. Like, oh, that's the ladies' man right there. But there's something about him where character based.
Yes.
The more you spend time with him, the more you see him. Like you can see women being like, oh, I like that guy. I feel protected. I feel like he'll take care of me. All of that. The reason, let me tell you real quick why I did not go with Forrest Whitaker.
Okay.
The only reason I didn't pick him, Godfather of Harlem. I felt like I would have been cheating. I felt like because he does it so well.
Yeah,
You can
you're right.
almost say that's kind of a very Tony Soprano character.
Yeah.
And I just think
That's
that like,
great.
man, this might be cheating. So that's what that's the first person or one of the first people I thought of. And I went deeper in the bag once I thought about Godfather of Harlem because I'm like,
I
man, this
forgot
might be
about that,
too. Let
bro.
me challenge myself a little bit. Yeah, I mean, if you've seen Godfather of
Yeah, I
Harlem, then
have. I seen the
you see
earlier.
Tony Soprano.
Yep.
For all the listeners, you see Tony Soprano. So that
Yep.
I mean, that's an incredible, perfect choice.
Wow, now that makes sense. If I was still watching, I probably would have said the same thing. I had stopped watching it until they came back and then they recasted Malcolm X. I never got back on the wave really, but yeah, I completely forgot about it because I would have did the same. But yeah, man, he just fits that bill of like I can see him being.
Damn, that's good, Mo. That's good, Mo.
Man, bro, Forrest Whitaker, bro. Y'all, he's in so let me just give y'all some things he's in for those that are not as familiar. Godfather Harlem, like you said, Last King of Scotland. He was the butler. How It Ends, which is a recent movie. Panic Room in 2002. He was in Southpaw, which was the Crying Game in '92. He's been in quite a his filmography is crazy.
Zuri and Black Panther.
Zuri,
the power of the Black Panther.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Repo Man. Like he's been in quite a bit of films, man. And when I think about Forrest Whitaker, I could see him doing Tony-esque things like when he's talking about Under the Border with his song in Janet's mouth. Like, dude, I can see him doing some douchebag like behaviors.
Carmela, can you please shut the door?
Yeah, I can see him doing. I can see him getting up in. What do you mean? Like, I can see Forrest Whitaker going and all those. I can see him in the therapy sessions, looking at Melfi and just like, I mean, what are you gonna do? I can't even do the like Forrest Whitaker voice, but like, you know, he has a certain kind of inflection. It's like, I mean, I call somebody downstairs. I mean, you think that, you know, he has that. I just said, bro, he would be perfect Tony Soprano. So yeah, and I think as far as the sexiness goes, I kind of pulled a little bit from Empire. It's a weird place to pull from, but I liked him, and I think the glasses kind of helped. You know, I mean, you know, he's all known to have a lazy eye, of course, but I think that kind of helped kind of move from that kind of, you know, different look that he has, and I just think he would have been a perfect Tony Soprano, bro, for all of the reasons that I think on the Italian side of things and how it actually went with James Gandolfini. So Forrest Whitaker is my Tony, man.
I love it, bro. Like, I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. I think that's perfect choice. I can see it. I like both of our Tonys, actually.
I do. I like Lawrence too. Like I didn't even. Lawrence got depth. I need that person that can make me hate him and love him, and they got to be able to do it in one swoop.
Man, that's good.
Yep, that's it.
That's good. If I thought about it, and I know we've gone longer than what I thought we would went, so we'll go ahead and wrap things up. If I would have thought about it, I would have probably put a little bit of time into thinking about who would be my dream black director for a series like this. I don't want to. That's something I would love to put time into, so I don't want to just blurt something out.
Yeah.
Maybe if we bring this back for some additional character, because there's so many. You got your Richard Priels, you got your Ralph Cifarettos, you've got you know, Carmine. There's other characters, your Janices. There's people that we can really sit down and take time with on additional seasons. Charmaine, yeah. So maybe we'll bring this back in the back of the Bing. But I'll tell you right now, Mo, I had an incredible time doing this.
Yes.
This is something that I enjoy, and I love the fact that you came up with this idea. I'm gonna be thinking about, because I'm sick in the head like this. I'm gonna be thinking about this for a while, and just kind of tweaking my own list in my head. But most importantly, I cannot wait. Literally cannot wait to hear feedback from everyone out there. So please, if you have, whether it's just commenting on the picks that Mo and myself made, whether it's you sending in your own casting list of who you think would be perfect, um, please respond. Send a DM, send an email, reach out, let us know what you think. I can't wait to hear from Spike
Mm-hmm.
and what he thought about our list,
Mm-hmm.
the whole nine. This was very fun.
Yeah, very
The
thought
only
out.
thing that might have been as fun as doing Whitecaps. So
Almost,
this is
yes.
a great choice from you, Mo, man. I'm thankful for you, man. I appreciate you coming up with this concept. I had a lot of fun today, man.
Me too, man. Great, very mind bending. And this is just season one. We gotta do a black recast of season two at some point. So we'll keep that. We got a few more seasons to recast or add to the additions to what we already have. So this will be an ongoing thing, man. So y'all be on the lookout on the feed. I want to figure out some kind of way to let y'all see the listing. But it's time consuming, so I have to find a pocket to be able to put the pictures with the recast. But and nonetheless, and you send me yours too, because I'm gonna try to get these put in the video so people can actually
Yeah.
see the
And
people.
even if it's not in the video, man, maybe we'll make a post. You know, you can add up to 10 slides. Maybe we can make a couple posts on the Good Earner page.
Gotcha.
Where we Mo's pick and my pick and things like that. But please give us your feedback, man. Mo, super producer, podcast extraordinaire, um, dad of the year, the whole nine, man. Shout out to you for
Shout out to
everything
you,
that you
man.
do and the work that you put into this, man. Shout out to everybody out there listening. Shout out to the I'm scared to call us a big three, man, after Kendrick just came and obliterated the rap game this past weekend. But I'm still
Yeah,
gonna call us a big three, man. We still
definitely
the
big
big
three.
three like we started the league.
Yeah,
Spike Lou, our brother in arms, man. We shout out to everybody out there listening. We
yeah.
appreciate you. I guess that's about it, man. Mo,
That's
you got
it.
anything else?
Remember, don't forget about it. Forrest Whitaker, bro.